My personal favourite dinosaurs are those which are rarely talked about, being heavily underrated and deserving of more attention. One such dinosaur, which inhabited North America over 110 million years ago, absolutely fits into this category. Some of you may have heard of Acrocanthosaurus Atokensis, which was one of North America's first megatheropods, one that was closely related to the more well-known Allosaurus, Giganotosaurus, and Carcharodontosaurus. Acrocanthosaurus atokensis, the only named species in the genus, was first discovered in the early 1940s. The discovery consisted of both the holotype and the paratype, which were both described in the 1950s. The fossilized remains consisted of two partial skeletons and a fragment of skull material, all of which was found in Antlers Formation located in Oklahoma. The genus name Acrocanthosaurus was chosen in the formal 1950 description of the remains, and the name translates to high-spined lizard in Greek, while the species name Atokensis refers to the specific county in Oklahoma where the species was unearthed. 40 years later, in the 1990s, two more specimens, this time more complete, were found in the Twin Mountains Formation of Texas and again in the Antlers Formation, broadening the known range of Acrocanthosaurus much further south than originally known. A third formation, the Cloverleaf Formation, was also confirmed to have Acrocanthosaurus in 2012, with another partial skeleton being described from this formation. Even more surprisingly, Acrocanthosaurus is also confirmed to have existed in the eastern United States, which contradicts the usual trend of theropods only being found in the western states for the most part. Rather surprisingly, instead of being closely related to other North American theropods such as the Tyrannosaurids and Dromaeosaurids, Acrocanthosaurus is actually believed to have been a Carcharodontosaurid, placing it in the same family as Carcharodontosaurus itself, which lived in North Africa. However, it is also believed to have been a close relative of megatheropods from South America, such as Giganotosaurus, Maposaurus, Tyrannotitan, Meraxes, and the lesser-known Taurovenator. Acrocanthosaurus is placed just outside the clade which comprises the subfamilies Giganotosaurini and Carcharodontosaurini. And for those wondering, these clades contained all of the giant theropods which I mentioned earlier. Interestingly, Acrocanthosaurus is actually the only large Carcharodontosaurid known from North America, with the other half a dozen genera originating in Patagonia, Argentina, and North Africa. Probably the most unique feature of Acrocanthosaurus would have to be its disproportionately tall neural spines, which actually gave it its genus name, which are located in the neck, back, hips, and upper tail. The lower neural spines had attachments for powerful muscles similar to what is seen in American bison, which would have formed a tall, muscular ridge down the back. In other words, Acrocanthosaurus had a hump, similar to what you'd find in bison and some antelope species. However, this wasn't a sail like what Spinosaurus or Dimetrodon had on their backs, as their neural spines were proportionally much longer than what's seen on Acrocanthosaurus. Acrocanthosaurus was not only a humped predator, but it was also massive in size for a theropod, approaching the sizes of some of its closer relatives. The holotype specimen of Acrocanthosaurus atokensis was actually among the shortest adult specimens, reaching only 8.6 meters in length and standing 2.8 meters tall at the hump. The paratype, however, was a much larger animal, with an estimated length of 11.8 meters with a standing height of 3.4 meters. Although this is the largest specimen we have currently, an Acrocanthosaurus on average still could have weighed as much as a dozen male polar bears. So if it was still around today, it would be the largest land predator on Earth and one of the largest land animals overall. Aside from the tall neural spines, Acrocanthosaurus probably would have looked no different from other Carcharodontosaurus, even being dwarfed by some of its closer relatives like Carcharodontosaurus itself and Giganotosaurus. Acrocanthosaurus was likely a top-order carnivore in its ecosystem, and as a result, it would have hunted many of the animals in its ecosystem. The largest predator Acrocanthosaurus would have had to compete with, aside from other Acrocanthosaurus, was Deinonychus antiropus, which was only around 75 to 100 kilograms, making it slightly larger than a wolf on average. Compared to Acrocanthosaurus, Deinonychus was little more than an ankle biter, one that would have posed little risk to a healthy adult Acrocanthosaurus. Acrocanthosaurus likely preyed upon smaller, non-avian dinosaurs, which, although massive compared to humans, wouldn't be out of the question for a full-grown Acrocanthosaurus to take down, even one-on-one. However, it's likely that the exact prey items varied by geographical regions, as in the Antlers Formation, Tenontosaurus is the only known ornithischian that Acrocanthosaurus could have taken down at least one-on-one, assuming Tenontosaurus did not live in herds or Acrocanthosaurus did not live in packs. Meanwhile, in the Cloverleaf Formation, Acrocanthosaurus would have had more options, as in this region there were not only Tenontosaurus, but also the notosaurids Tatankacephalus and Sauropelta. There were also two sauropods that lived alongside Acrocanthosaurus, with a more likely prey item of the two being Astrodon, which would have weighed 20 tons, so Acrocanthosaurus likely hunted weaker individuals, such as the young, sick, weak, and old. There was another giant sauropod, Sauroposeidon proteles, but we don't know if even a pack of Acrocanthosaurus could take down this behemoth. After all, Sauroposeidon was a 40 to 50 ton, 18 meter tall building, which had legs to kill any predator with one kick. Acrocanthosaurus lived across the United States of America, with a range spanning from Maryland in the east to as far west as Utah. It's likely that this theropod lived in a range of environments, including semi-arid deserts, floodplains, marshes, and coastal swamps. Acrocanthosaurus would have been a top-order carnivore in its ecosystem for 3 million years, with its temporal range spanning from 113 to 110 million years ago. Across its range, Acrocanthosaurus lived alongside many other animals. These include the previously mentioned Sauropelta, Deinonychus, Tenontosaurus, and Sauroposeidon, all of which coexisted with Acrocanthosaurus in multiple geographic areas. More regionally specific co-inhabiting dinosaurs that would have lived alongside Acrocanthosaurus include the basal ceratopsian aqualops, a close relative of Sauropelta, Tatankacephalus, a smaller ornithischian known as Zephyrsaurus, and another sauropod known as Rugocordia. All lived alongside Acrocanthosaurus and all inhabited the Cloverleaf Formation. To conclude, Acrocanthosaurus was a very interesting dinosaur, one that lived in an equally interesting ecosystem. I could actually make an entire video about the animals Acrocanthosaurus lived alongside and all of the remarkable discoveries made about them, but I don't have time to talk about them here, obviously. I've been recording this video alone for 4 days. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this profile video on what I think is the most underrated megatheropod, as clearly not enough people know about this titan from early Cretaceous North America. As a side note, I'd just like to announce that I've started a mega project of sorts, one that will take me a while to research, a while to script, and a while to record, so I hope you guys have the patience to wait for at least a month. And by the way, it's on cryptozoology if anyone's wondering. And it will probably be my longest video yet.